What if you could just crack open a time capsule and find the original blueprint for one of the greatest investors ever? Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going back to 1961 to uncover the foundational principles of a young Warren Buffett, way before the rest of the world caught on.
So picture this. It's 1961. Buffett's only 31 years old. He's not the Oracle of Omaha yet, not by a long shot. But even then, he was already laying the groundwork, brick by brick, for the empire we now know as Berkshire Hathaway.
So you gotta ask, right, how did he pull it off? In a world that's always chasing fast money and hype, what was his secret sauce for building not just incredible wealth, but unshakable trust with his very first investors? Well, it turns out the answer has been hiding in plain sight this whole time. It's all laid out in a letter he penned to his partners back in July of 1961. And trust me, this isn't just some old letter, it's a blueprint, and we're gonna decode it together.
Okay, first up, the danger of easy money. In the first half of 61, the market was on fire, and you'd think that's a good thing. But for Buffett, that's exactly what had him worried.
And just look at these numbers. The Dow was up a solid 13%, and Buffett's partnerships, they did even better. I mean, on the surface, that's fantastic, right? Time to break out the champagne.
But nope, not for Buffett. He saw a huge trap here. He was actually worried that these easy wins would teach his partners all the wrong lessons and get them hooked on dangerous, short-term thinking.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? He flat out told his partners, 1 year is far too short a period to form any kind of an opinion. He was already coaching them, getting them to zoom out and think in 5-year chunks, not these tiny little 6-month sprints.
So, okay, how do you fight that temptation for a quick buck? Well, he had a playbook. A really clear, disciplined, and honestly kind of counterintuitive one. His whole strategy was pretty simple. The hotter the market got, the colder his portfolio became. He had this great analogy. He called himself an amateur cook with a stove. And when things got too hot, he'd just take assets off the stove. In other words, he'd hold more cash and just wait.
And get this is wild. He tells his partners he's buying a big new investment and that he hopes the price does absolutely nothing for a whole year. I mean, who does that? Why would he want that? So he could buy more, patiently, at a great price. That's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
But mastering the market was only half the battle. Buffett knew that to build something that would last, the inside of his business had to be just as solid as his investment picks. And frankly, it was getting messy.
See, at the time, he was juggling a bunch of different partnerships, and each one had its own set of rules. It was clunky, and worse, it wasn't always fair. The big question became, how do you bring everyone together under one roof with one single fair vision?
And his solution? Oh, it was a masterclass. It was about business design, sure, but it was also about human psychology. He didn't just tweak a few things. He tore down the old system and engineered a brand new deal from the ground up.
So check this out. On the left, you've got the old way. 3 different, kind of confusing deals. But on the right, the new way. One simple, elegant deal. Here's how it worked. First, the partners get paid. They earn a 6% return on their money before he sees a dime. And what happened with profits above that 6%? Well, for every dollar they made, 75 cents went right back to the partners. Buffett only got 25 cents. It was just so clean, so simple, no confusion. And here's the real kicker, the thing that builds all the trust. He was literally tying his own financial fate to theirs. He put it perfectly in the letter. My results will have to be directly proportional to yours. This wasn't just a business arrangement. It was a pact. We're in this together. And this wasn't just talk. He put his money where his mouth was, big time. He told everyone that he and his wife, Susie, were going to have the single largest investment in the new partnership. We're talking about 1/6 of the total assets. He wasn't just playing with their money. His own skin was right there in the game. And if he thought that was something, he then took it one giant step further. He actually added a legal rule that stopped him and his family from buying any other stocks or bonds. That's it. The partnership was their one and only focus. I mean, that is the ultimate skin in the game, right? And the whole setup was just incredibly partner-friendly. He thought of everything. You want regular payouts? Done. Want to reinvest your earnings automatically? Easy. Need to borrow against your stake for some cash? No problem. He even took care of the small tax headaches himself just to save them the paperwork. Every single detail was designed to build long-term trust. So when you step back and look at this letter from over 60 years ago, what are the big takeaways for us, right here, right now? What's the core of this blueprint?
It really boils down to three incredibly powerful ideas. First, think in 5-year cycles, not 6-month sprints. Second, you have to truly align your interests with your partners. Their win has to be your win. And third, simplify. Just simplify everything. Because complexity breeds doubt, but simplicity creates fairness and trust. And all this leaves us with one final big question. In our world today, a world just buzzing with market noise, nonstop hype, and this constant obsession with the next quick flip, is it possible that this simple 60-year-old blueprint for patience, fairness, and putting people first is actually the most valuable one of all?